Hello there, it's me, Sari. Today I'm here to show you how I made these. I made these in a Swedish video, and I'm not sure I'll be able to make it as exactly as the Swedish video, but I hope I'll be getting there anyway. I started out die cutting these shapes, either a rectangle or square rectangle or a circle, with a sort of faux stitch on the edge. And I have bought them from Scrapbruket in Sweden, but they come from Memory Box. And they come in various shapes. I mean, there's also heart, I believe, that you can be on the lookout for. There is also something with a sort of a cross stitch, if you would be interested in that. So nowadays they have started putting these on a magnetic piece of sheet, so you actually have your dies in place, and I think that's a good thing. I see more and more companies going in that direction actually. So here is that with the rectangle, and there are quite a few shapes. I mean, I believe that you get quite a few dies for your buck, so it's a good purchase. And here are the circles. My only thing, I mean, when I compare, let's see, in my book, when I compare this to another one that I have bought from a different company, the stitch is a little bit more deeper in comparison to the other one. And that was my first reaction when I die cut these, that I was just, what a shame they didn't take them a little bit more in, because I think that is a little bit prettier in my book, but that's just me. So nothing bad to the companies who have made the other ones. I was thinking that I would do a little bit of die cutting here. Oh, there went the nail. Just say, oh, for goodness sake. You see, pretty, isn't it? I just lucked out I didn't break the bloody finger. Ooh. So with just one pass you should be able to get these out, and you get both. You know, I don't recall which companies I've gotten these from. Let's see. This one, it could have been Kaisercraft or something. Let me just put that one in there. So there's an oval, and there's a label, and there's an arrow, and there's a speech bubble, and a tag, and also a fishbone banner of sorts, and a star. And just by pressing them through once in your Big Shot machine, I can actually get out all of these. And look at those stitches. They are just the perfect amount on the edge, so to speak. And I could just say a couple of words about my storage, my die storage. I have made a video about this. I'm not sure if I made it in Swedish or English, but basically what I have done is I've taken two pieces of carton, glued them together, made them to appropriate size for this magnetic shim sheet. This one is from xcut, I believe. And I just glued that one on, and I put some washi tape around it, just to be able to sort them out when I have several of these in a stack, and just to actually hide the horrid edges that I got when I die cut these, or cut these pieces of paper and whatever to size. And I think it's a nice look. You can actually see them rather easily on your craft table when you have different patterns on your washi tapes and such. So here is another set of dies. These, I'm not sure if they come from Lawn Fawn, perhaps. I'm not sure. You know, there are so many brands nowadays that you can't really keep track of it. And these, just look at these. I mean, they are so pretty with the stitch so far in. So I do sound a little bit disappointed, and perhaps I must admit that I am. I just hoped that the stitch would have been a little bit more inner. So let's see, where am I now? I do believe that I could shift these. Put them on tape. So let's continue. It's a good thing that Memory Box has started with these, I believe. And let's see where I could end up with the rest of this video. I'm not sure. And what I had going for me in the first video was that I started out splotting with, let me show you another thing. I'm not sure I'll be able to showcase this to you properly in this video because the camera is too low. But I found myself a sort of a cake tray thingy with 2 shelves, and I did choose this because it has got a really nice edge here. This means that these won't fall off as easily as they would from another cake tray that I've got, which hasn't got those. Let me see. You know, I mean, the edges of that one is just that high, and if I'm going to take that one to a scrap event or something, they're just going to fall out like a domino piece there. So that is what I'm really about now, and I have started labeling my stain bottles and everything, because if I have them gathered like that, it's easier for me to just pick out the name, and I see them easily. I did buy the picked raspberry and the tea dye, the peacock feathers, as well as the Victorian velvet. And you could do this technique with any of the stain bottles, of course. And so let's see. What I did was I just, you know, when you get your distress stain bottle for the first time, you just have to make sure that the dabber is going to function properly. So you need to just press it in, preferably on your craft sheet or something, and you can see that there is a bit of color there now. So now you know that that one is functioning. Let's see, I did use that one on a square. I don't have to do it the same way, but I could actually just try it out. What you have to think about splotching with these is that the color might stain other things than you want to. So please prepare your surface, or just take away anything that you want to take care of a little extra. And when you have wetted the dabber point or the top, you could just make a splatter like that. Sometimes you don't succeed as well as I did here. So then you might think that, what the bloody hell happened here? You see, sometimes it just doesn't happen as you want to. Sometimes you just luck out, and sometimes you don't. And let's see if I can get a little bit closer. I could wet it a little bit more and give it a go, but it doesn't work now, does it? So I just have to settle for that. Either take out another piece of paper or just try another kind of a color. I'm going to go for the tea dye. I'm just going to do the same thing with that one. I'm going to wet it and I'm going to splot it. You see, this time it doesn't really go as far as it did on the first one. And I'm going to go for the Victorian velvet. That one really splots, became wet there, and that one actually gave it a really nice splash. So I think that the tip for you to think about is actually to just really make sure that the color is flowing there, and then you can go. I'm not going to give up on this pink one. I just need to get it. Just look at that. You know, perfect splash, but on the craft sheet. Let's see if I can pick it up by just taking this die cut piece and sucking it up like this. Just going to press it a little, because this is watercoloring paper, so this one needs a little bit more work before it can suck up everything. And you know, it became muddled up like that, so it wasn't pretty now, was it? So now I have used all of my 3 pieces, so I suppose I could take whatever I've got here. And what I did in the final bit of that video was that I started, you could either, you know, what you could do now, if I had any water here. Well, I have a mixture of perfect pearls, gold, with a little bit of water. So if I were to make some sort of a spraying thing here now, then perhaps I could make that color stretch a little bit further. And I'm going to press it rather hard, as you can see, and now you can get a sort of a watercolor effect there. If you let that dry, that is all right, but you could also just take a second imprint or print from this, lift it, and you have something else to work on. Look at that, it wasn't half bad now, was it? just imagine letting this one dry and making a stamp here or something. I mean, that could be rather nice. I can see myself holding on to that one. Let's see if I could find myself another piece of paper here. I'm rather fond of this watercolouring paper, I must say, because it is sort of sturdy and, well, it's nicer to make some die cut pieces out of and something like that. Let's see. Let's see what could happen. If I just drag it like that, I could get that kind of an effect. So you can blend your colours in that way. Now I'm just looking for some scrap pieces of paper here, so you have to bear with me. Because sometimes I just want to hold on to the colour. I don't want to waste it. Of course I could take a baby wipe or a piece of toilet paper or whatever. This is rather a nice look, I must say. Sort of splotchy. And just press it like that. Oh, look at that. Really nice colour combo there. And if you dare, you could just keep on dabbing. Sometimes you feel like you're destroying it, but then again, whoa, something happens, you think. Let's see if I could perhaps point the camera in this direction. So what could I do now? You see, I do believe I could continue with the one that I started out in the Swedish video. For goodness sake, my vowels and everything is out of place today. But you know, just by making something like this, you get a background, you say, sort of get a pattern piece of paper, and there's really no way of knowing in which direction it's going, but it just might work out. And if not, well, perhaps you could do some die cutting out of this, getting some funky letters or whatever, or you could just throw these away. I mean, it's just for experimenting's sake I'm doing this, really. And here is the other one that I made in a Swedish video. This one looks rather nice, because in my book I was thinking that I might... Let's see now. Let's see. I had a thought, and I might as well just go through with it. I was thinking that I could take this sort of label, take a little bit of ink, and I'm sure there is enough ink around on this sponge. It lasts longer than you believe. And now it's all up to me to just find a statement on a stamp small enough to fit on this label. And then I could do something. Let's see. Well, these aren't dry yet, so I might as well just go for something else then. I might take these that I made before. And I could ink up the edges on these ones as well. And it's just, as you can see, I'm working rather recklessly. I'm not that particular about how it's going to look. I'm just making a statement here, really. And just by perhaps using this or these two in either direction, really, you can make that label pop out a little bit on the side. Fasten this one perhaps with a pair of 3D foam pads or something, and you could have something going like this. So I suppose, or I just suggest to you that you should have some fun with your stain colours. They are fun. And what you could do more with your stain bottles, not just splotching and covering up your craft sheet, you could actually... Let's see if I could take a piece of paper here. Well, you know, I hold on to these pieces that I have done some die cutting on. And so I have things for just random things. Like so. Now you've got really modelled up and dark and dirty. It's all right. What I was thinking of was that I was about to show you what you could do with your stain bottles. Well, if you want to colour in a large piece of paper or something, large surface sort of, you could do that really easily. So instead of having to work with the ink blending tool and everything, you could just do this rather easily and rather quickly. So the stain is a sort of, let me see if I can find the word I'm looking for here. I mean, this is like the ink pad, but it's fluid. So this is the ink pad in a fluid version. So if you want to, I mean, this is sort of using watercoloring, watercolors actually, just paint a thing really quickly. You know, I said I was going to use, well, let's see. I used that Perfect Pearls thing, and now you can actually start to see the shimmer. There you can see it really nicely, can't you? So the shimmer is there, definitely. There it is, really nicely. It's like having a little bit of gold in the wall. There it is. And if I were to just spray this with a little bit of that, you know, the thing that the Distress ink is known for is that it reacts with water. So having sprayed this here, you get a sort of bleach effect. Let's see. If I were to just take a piece of paper here and dab it off, you see that there is going to be a difference in color. Because the water mixture there has made it react with water. So this is actually a way, if you would like to make a really easy, clean and simple distress square or something that is colored in a random fashion, and you would like to make a stamp, put a stamp here perhaps with a face or something, and you would like the face to have a sort of lighter color, well, perhaps this could be it. And you know, come to look at this now, it sort of looks like a heart. So we could make this work on a Valentine's card perhaps. It isn't that evident, but I still can see it there, can't you? Well, I think it's time for me to sign off right now. I hope you have a splendid time and keep on watching my videos. Bye bye!